What's your reaction to the emotion over what Republicans are doing in Tennessee, Congressman?
Well, what Republicans are doing is blatantly racial. They say it's for policy reasons and not race reasons. But when they divided the Memphis area up, which my district, District 9, had 62% African-American voters in it, they divided the three new districts with 29% black, 29% black, and 31% black. It seems like they must have been looking for black individuals to parcel them out to where they were equal or unequal in the whole big picture in all three districts. And I think that shows their intent to use race as a factor. Certainly they wanted to win a Republican seat so that Donald Trump wouldn't have vigorous oversight on his illegal activities, of which there's been a plethora, and also oversight over other issues that deal with his agenda. So I think the Republicans went way too far. They did whatever Trump wanted. They jumped into action. Our governor is term limited, so he'll want a job when he finishes his term in January, and Trump can give it to him. So he responded as well. For Tennessee, it's a bad thing. When they needed help with the Obama administration to get $400 million for a bridge to cross the Mississippi River that we've wanted here for dozens and dozens of years, they came to me. And I talked to Secretary Buttigieg, I talked to other officials, and the state said, as did the Memphis Chamber and the Memphis City Mayor, that I was responsible for getting that $400 million. Well, if you don't have a person on both teams and you have a governor of another party, you need somebody that can get you an entree. And they knew that, and they asked for me. They got 9. We have 9 reps. You have a baseball team has 9 players. If they're all power hitters, you win home run derby. But you never win the World Series because you need somebody that can pitch, somebody that can relieve, somebody that can steal second. They came to me and they said, steal second, third, and home. And I did it.
Now, Congressman Cohen, you already have at least 2 legal challenges to the new map: an emergency petition from the NAACP and a federal class action lawsuit filed by several Tennessee voters and state Democrats, including yourself and State Senator Pearson. Your suit claims the new map. Right. The new map should be invalidated, your suit claims, under the 2022 ruling by the Tennessee Supreme Court. What's the status right now, and what else are Tennessee Democrats doing to fight back?
Well, we've been mobilizing and letting people know how awful this was, and it was Jim Crow coming back to life, and how it took away the work of people like John Lewis, who I served with for many years and went to school in Nashville. We used to talk about Avon Williams and other Zuby, other great leaders in the Nashville area. But they took away his work, Dr. King's work, the deaths of Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodman, Vallaluzzo, Edgar Mevers. All this happened in the 60s. It was a great legislative victory to pass the Voting Rights Act, and to wipe it out was morally wrong. And there's a power. They may have said, the Supreme Court, that X, Y, and Z, but then to take the 13th and 14th Amendments that were intended for Civil War, post-Civil War protections for African Americans against citizenship, and turn it against African Americans and say the whites were discriminated against, is just foolishness, and it's crazy. And they could have exercised some discretion, and they should have. There's a higher power than simply words on a paper. There's God's words, and God would say it's not right to interfere with efforts to help people who've been discriminated against, enslaved, and had Jim Crow for it. 200, 300 years.
And you are Exhibit A, that even in a 62% black district, you were elected, and you're white, and you were reelected a couple of times. So their argument just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense. But Congressman Carson, Indiana was a rare example of a red state where Republican lawmakers denied Trump's redistricting demand. Nearly 24 of them voted against redrawing Indiana's voting map last year. But it looks like he just got his revenge on many of them who just lost their primaries this week to challengers he backed. Now he's touting Indiana as an example of what happens to Republicans who buck him on gerrymandering. Do you think the intimidation is working?
Well, there is some fear there, but the appetite isn't there. One of the senators who was defeated was just on MSNOW, and he told Kristen Weckler that he made the right choice. You know, this is outside of what Hoosiers do. We saw Democrats mobilized our team, along with activists, yourself and others, organizing, working with Republicans and independents and libertarians to say we don't want redistricting in our state. Now, Trump has made a political point, but the state still doesn't have an appetite for redistricting. I think our focus right now is protecting our CBC brothers and sisters who are facing this very dangerous administration. And I think the fallout is getting worse. After the Supreme Court's decision against VRA, we're seeing states, as you've reported, already redrawing their maps after the court gave a green light to racial discrimination and electoral exclusion. Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, they're all redrawing maps. Louisiana has actually stopped an election that was already underway. This is unacceptable. This is a blatant attempt to dismantle, dilute, and pasteurize the black vote.
Now, staying with you, Congressman Carson, while all politics are local, we're talking about legislative races in a state Trump won by nearly 20 points 2 years ago, yet it's reported he spent more than $8 million in campaign cash to assert his will over your state Senate. And in a few of these races, the Trump-backed candidate only won by a handful of votes. You talk to Indiana voters every day. Some of them are Republicans. As are your GOP lawmakers you talk to on the Hill and in your district. Are they really that locked in with Trump right now?
It's not like in terms of remedying what they see as them losing America. The whole MAGA movement, Making America Great Again, is trying to take America back to a mythical place that never existed. So some of these folks need someone to blame for their grievances. But they were able to make the distinction because Indiana has a very independent and libertarian streak as it related to the redistricting question. But unfortunately, instead of fixing the damage that persists from America's original sin, slavery, the Supreme Court perverted the 14th Amendment, which was ratified to provide rights to the formerly enslaved and their descendants. You know, Rev, you know this very well. At one time, voting was a right given to white landowners. And now that black folks have been given the right to vote, we've leveraged that vote in very powerful ways. And I think it has awakened others who want to dismantle our power. The CBC, the conscience of the Congress, they're trying to focus on dismantling that very powerful and formidable voting bloc, and we can't let it happen.
Congressman Cohen, I want to get back to you briefly. As I mentioned, you're a white male reelected to represent Tennessee's only majority black district. So following the Louisiana decision, what do you make of the Supreme Court's logic that partisan gerrymandering is okay, but not race-based redistricting, when obviously that is not what happened in your district? Who does this ultimately serve?
Well, I'm not sure what they were doing. This district was not a voting rights district. It's a district that just grew up as an African-American district, had a continuity with the white community where we had community purposes and we had a compact district. And they didn't attack it in the past because they thought if they attacked it, it could be a voting rights action. But they didn't have to attack it because it wasn't unconstitutional, and that's what they were saying. They just want to turn everything around, and they don't mind taking over black jurisdictions. They took over the state legislature, took over the school board in Memphis. They took over the airport authority in Memphis. They've taken over, they've had the DA, who they call Soros-led DA, and the police director have to report on certain cases that the National Safety Task Force brought to Memphis, which we didn't want. We didn't want ICE here, and we didn't want the Guard here, but make them report on what they do when they don't follow through on those arrests. That was basically colonizing Memphis, and this was part of the colonization of Memphis from the Republic of Nashville, Republic of Tennessee.
All right, I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you both.